Are you ready?
Bumblebee in my ear.
We're going.
Start off with randomness.
Yeah.
Focus on our...
All right. Sorry, we had to take a quick break, and it had a couple of interruptions, be it me chirping over a Lego container or having to pee. All the interruptions were 100% my fault.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, wardrobe changed once again, so...
That's true. He did. He changed up one more again.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, this one shirt is actually a hair darker of blue.
Actually, this is just a different size. I think it's like, I usually like go for this medium. I really like to show my muscles off.
Did you just say medium?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's one I was.
Is it an extra medium or just a medium?
It's a medium tall.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of extra medium.
It could be. Yeah, I guess it's extra medium.
This is weird. All right, so on the... Ow, fuck, that's hot as dick. Oh, well. I swear a lot. We know this.
And you also know, like, you know, you rest your forearm on dick a lot, so we know...
that's true, too.
We know that it's hot as that, so...
Dick's so big I can rest my arm on it. I don't need a cast, doctor.
You're like a really rich dude, and you just have two dudes stand by and you see a arm rest, so it's just like...
Oh, that'd be even better. Yeah, like two like giant black dudes that just hold my arm with their dicks, like armrests. I feel like some crazy old princess.
This would be the 15 seconds of the conversation that I would choose to edit, but it's there out in the world. So
that is true.
There you go. Yeah, so...
Yeah, Rob.
We were talking about art earlier before we were rudely interrupted by our host.
My bladder.
And, yeah... The opportunities to...
by the Chavez.
The opportunities to either teach or... my thing is, like, I don't mind teaching. I just want to be around people, learn, and I don't want to do classroom management. I don't want to have to, like, tell kids they need to time out. I don't want to tell kids to stop stabbing each other with pencils and art supplies. I just want to be around... Because the thing is like...
Do you know how much lead tattoos I have? Like pencil lead tattoos, I have like 15.
That's awesome.
From being stabbed by friends.
Yeah, and it's just like that part of teaching. I think that teachers should get paid like double or triple what they get paid, because it's like, not only are you trying to like...
And you're not a teacher.
No, I'm not. I'm not a teacher at all. And I applaud those that teach, but it's like, not only you're trying to make sure these kids don't flunk out of school and give them some kind of knowledge, but then you're babysitting these kids who are they're like, attention spans are zero. They just want to F with you all the time because they know if they, like, you know, make a fart noise or like cuss at you, they're going to get all this rush from the reaction they're going to get. That was
me.
Yeah, it's like, imagine doing that when you're like my age. I mean, like, there was like nobody getting hit, but there's still like, you got sent to the principal's office. You wouldn't pull that stuff, that same stuff we weren't allowed to pull. We got away with stuff, but, you know, we weren't even the generation that got hit at school by rulers and other stuff like that. And it's like...
We got hit by other kids.
Yeah. And so, like, these kids, they can just, like, do or say whatever they want. And, like, yeah, a kid would cuss out a teacher every blue moon, but they'd be expelled. They'd be done at that school. There would be no, like...
There's a kid at my son's school that throws chairs at the teachers.
Yeah, and it's just like, we're allowing... Yeah, that's where I'll, like, get on an island, because I have a lot of opinions about...
violent kids.
No, just how kids are raised nowadays. It's like, yeah, you know, it needed to improve. Agencies need to be in place to protect kids. I get that. But then there needs to be, I feel, you know, not just people making money off of it, but free education for parents who need to learn. I think I have friends that I respect that said, yeah, we went to a parenting class and they give us a few thoughts and tricks and things to, you know, deal with the toddler. You know, it's like, what do you do when a toddler has a meltdown every time something, you know, the wind blows or they like are hungry or whatever and things, and like,
I want jelly beans.
Yeah, you're like murdering them in public as there's nothing wrong, and they just want to have a freak out. And then you have kids that are teenagers that if they don't do their homework, they drop out of school, and then you don't, and
Again,
you try to take
that.
their Xbox, and then they like I was an emotional kid, and I'd put my hand in the drywall a couple times, but it's like now it's like you're in trouble. Go to your room with your like Xbox and your internet and your Paradise and all that stuff.
But were you real or fake about it? Like, did you knock on the wall to find where the stud was to make sure you didn't break your hand on the stud?
No, I wasn't that smart.
Okay,
I got lucky, but I just want to throw.
I don't know how many studs I punched. I'm like, yeah. I'm never gonna put a hole in this.
I said I wasn't going to talk about parenting and kids, but the one thing, one parent, I was randomly like talking to a population of people who normally do not discipline their kids, and I'm not going to go into that. But the point is, one of her daughters was at where I work, and she interrupted or said something. She said, please don't be disrespectful. Apologize. And she did. And she said, and I said, I said, wow. And she said, yeah, my one daughter was off the chain, like doing stupid stuff. And so I took everything out of her room except for the bed, all the posters, all the clothes, everything, toys. Like there was nothing in that room except for a bed. And then her daughter had to explain to her friends when they came over what she did and she told her, if you keep acting up, I'm going to take your bed. So you'll literally be in a room with nothing. And it's like, I had respect for that because it's like, yeah, it's like yelling doesn't work. And the way, some people were raised around my generation before where they're being hit by their parents and abused, that doesn't work. I get that. But it's like the average person does not know what to do with the child.
No.
And you can learn that, but it's so difficult. And I think there needs to be, if you are voting out there or you want my vote, you need to come up with public education or parenting so that people have a chance. Because that's bottom line is the kids aren't, if they're not learning, they learn so much good and bad things at home. And it's for the ones that are able to discipline their kids and send them to school. It's like they're going to be respectful at school because if they know, if their parents find out about it, all bets are off.
Like, absolutely.
Something's going to happen. You don't know if that's good or bad or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, the parents have to, or grandma or grandpa or whoever is raising the kid, and sometimes they're doing it out of desperation, doing the best they can, but having free education out there, how to work with kids and teach them, discipline them without verbal or physical abuse would be great, because nobody knows that, the only people that are going to give that information are people who are going to charge you money for it.
I mean, I'm in a lot of agreement with that, but there is times that children they try and push it, and I don't suggest any form of abuse or violence, but a good stern voice and demanding that they do a thing, is in my opinion as a parent a little it's hard. It's really hard. It's like, yeah. I don't want to do that.
Where do you?
But it's one of those things that it kind of, they need at least some sort of confirmation that they are in the wrong.
Yeah, like 95% of the time, like when we acted up, we pushed it because we knew we were pushing it. We pushed it to a point, but then as soon as the spoon or the sandal, and it's like we never got hit, but it's just the reminder of the one time that we did get paddled on the bottom, like, and nothing that ever left a mark and nothing whatever. I think my parents were amazing parents, and it's just like, but it was just a reminder of, hey, like, you need that, like, it's kind of like in the road, you need that stop sign, that big red stop sign to just say, stop what you're doing, calm down, and realize that if you pass this point without stopping and slowing down, there's potential for something worse to happen. And sometimes kids, I got so enraged as a youth, and I get so emotional, so upset that I couldn't stop. And I knew what I was doing, but I was like, I need to get this like out. So it's like, how do you have a positive outlet for the child to calm down and get to a point where they can be rational, but also have discipline and know that there's consequences. And
that's another thing. It's very simple to say, hey, my kid calms down with this and calms down with that, and it's like, and that's the current modern day. Give them a tablet, give them a phone, which I completely understand. We're in a technologically advanced society. That's a thing. It wouldn't have happened 75 years ago, no, because they didn't have that. But what they did have was other things that were similar to their current realm, where they were like, all right, let's give the kid this for a minute, and
but that's the sad thing is, like, I can't criticize because I've never been a parent, but that's the thing is, that's the go-to now is the shows on TV or the phone. And whether it's a car ride or whatever.
That was a go-to when we were a kid, though. It was like, we didn't only have Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
Which Saturday morning cartoons were the best because the parents were up late Friday night, whatever, and they get to sleep in and we get to watch cartoons and not bother them.
Yeah.
It was a great thing. But there was also other days that, maybe your dad wanted to watch the Super Bowl and you're like, but the fucking Teen Titans are on or whatever. And it's like, it's a weird melding point, and I try and do that. I don't really watch TV like at all, or even use a tablet. I have a computer which I primarily use for this kind of stuff and other things, but I try and allow the kid, because the future is technology based, and it could help him to learn a lot of it. And my kids know a lot more about tech than either of their parents will in the next 10 years.
But I'm just saying, what is the other default, like, way of discipline or way of pacifying your child that's not sticking in front of electronics? But that's the thing is, there's no available resources out there for people. That's the thing is the tablets and the iPhones and the YouTube and the stuff is low-hanging fruit, and that's what people are going to grab at when your child is having a meltdown. And haven't got any sleep because they woke up at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. It's easy to go for that low-hanging fruit. So what is I can't criticize, because I'm just saying it would happen to anybody, but it's just like, what is the solution to that?
It's not really a solution. I mean, there's no end all be all to parenting. There's good parenting, there's bad parenting, and in all reality, I feel like you don't know whether you're doing well or doing bad until they're adults, and at that point you can decide, oh, okay, I did all right. And it's definitely an art form. It's like you painted something that you don't like, or you kind of like, but you don't think is ever going to move, and then like 15 years later somebody wants to buy the fuck out of it. They're like, I have to have this. And it's a similar thing with parenting. Like, you're not setting them up for you, you're setting them up for them. And understandably, the whole just hand them something techie and they'll shut up kind of thing. Do you know how often I got a Walkman when I was a kid, and I just put headphones on and listened to music, and I was like, awesome. And I fell in love with Zeppelin and Bad Religion, and
what was that other band that I was supposed to know who they were, but I didn't? There's something.
Oh, Twisted Sister.
I don't know, something like that.
Twisted Sister is Dee Snider's band.
Yeah.
You don't know Twisted Sister? It's so weird because he's older than me that, like, you'd think you know that.
Yeah. Do you know who Taco is and, like, Singing in the Rain? You know that song? Or, like, no, Putting on the Ritz or something? Do you know that?
Yes.
See,
yes, I do.
Random stuff. I don't know, like, popular. I think the whole thing with rock and roll and a lot of, like, whatever, any famous band, like, that stuff.
But you know who Kid Cudi is?
Yeah.
Yeah, see.
But
you're 40.
Yeah.
You should know that shit. But you should definitely know who Twisted Sister is.
Yeah. I probably enjoy some Twisted Sister. I just think I stay away from everything that's like super popular in a certain genres that I just didn't gravitate towards right away. But I mean, I fell in love with a lot of bands, a lot of amazing music afterwards, because I finally just gave up and just said, oh, I'll listen to that. That's kind of cool. Who is that?
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you're painting, do you listen to music?
Yes, I do.
You're a music person?
Yeah.
What do you listen to? What happens to your artwork when you listen to different genres of music?
I don't know that there's like much effect.
No, I'm not talking about the actual painting. I'm talking about to you. What happens to you? Like, are you faster and more free moving with punk rock, or with rap, or with
I mean, there's definitely like a pace to what you're listening to, what's in the background, and I definitely feel like, if there's something like like for a bad example, if like Public Enemy with like Anthrax came on, I was like very, you know, it's like, yeah, you're feeling that, but it's like, I just think that, you know, music's nice, and it's just like now with like Pandora and Spotify, you can just throw something in. And one thing I don't like about stuff now is like then eventually it gets like radio, where you start hearing the same songs again.
Oh, fuck the radio.
And I'm just like, I missed the beginning of however it was of like stuff like Pandora and stuff, because I didn't feel like I ran into this. I would only hear the same song maybe every day or every other day, not in the same cycle of that day. And granted, there's audit,
well, back then we had Rick D's weekly top 40s and shit that you got to listen to. That was never the same song for 40 songs in a row.
Yeah, I need to get into like some book stuff and
like audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks.
I can recommend some amazing
but I need to get
ones.
like the app or whatever and pay for it, and I'm too stingy and lazy to do that. But
I'll show you how. I'll show you how to set it up.
But yeah, like I've listened to a couple of podcasts, like Jeremy Gregory, Candy Teeth Radio, and I've listened to your podcast before while painting. And
really,
yeah,
listen to my podcast while painting?
Yeah, actually,
I'm like literally, this is the 5th episode, and
yeah, because I was excited when it came out. And
first reference to my podcast.
Yeah, and Joseph Brooks, Joey Brooks, who is a Tacoma, Seattle artist, and he is in the Blam Studios in Greenwood.
Every time I look at his stuff, I'm like, I wish he did a mural.
Yeah, he did one. He actually worked on one on the Capitol Hill area with some kids. But yeah,
I want to see one where he goes out with some rattle cans and does like a whole fucking wall to himself.
He's probably talked to him. He's probably done some. I know he's.
I have talked to him. He was on the podcast.
But did you ask him about that?
No, I didn't.
Because you're what?
Stupid.
Yeah. Just you admit that, so I just wasn't the only one feeling it. But
absolutely, kids, don't be like me.
Yeah.
Do your schoolwork. Learn things. I'm 33 and 34 and just now learning.
But the thing is I consider you successful. That's the thing that's the one thing. Like when you say you're talking to youth and mentoring people and all that stuff, it's like I went to 2 expensive art schools, and I went to one of the top ones in the nation, like top 10 or whatever. I don't really care what the ranking is, but it was expensive and it was hard. It was good. And I'd go to like city colleges or other places, and people ask me, you know, do I need to spend the money, go there? And I was like, honestly, like, you know, you can community college. I say your prereqs or whatever, your basic education, do that at community college, because it was a lot cheaper, and it still is a lot cheaper. But then, you know, like learning, it's like I have a bunch of art friends who've never been to art school, and those are the ones who are bragging like, I didn't go to art school, I'm fucking awesome. I'm like, you bastards. And I'm like, but that's the thing, is there is no one way. But yeah, that's the thing, is like I consider you a very intelligent person and a very respectful person, and
go that far.
Whatever, and a very talented person, and many things. And it's like that's the thing, is like you have the ability to do stuff with your mind in your hands. You can see the future, and you can build things and design things. You know, like so. Anyway, I'm going to basically lead into how I met Travis.
Oh,
so I'm
Chavez conspiracy.
So Chavez, or AKA Travis, is partners with one of our artists that's also in the gallery studio, Mallory. Is it last name is Milky. Okay, I just want to make sure it's right. Anyway,
it's not my last name.
Amazing artist, and Chavez Milky.
What the fuck?
That's your
Chavez Milky.
Chazzy Milky.
I'm not taking her last name. That's fucked up. It's not fucked up.
I just put that in the world. It's going to manifest itself. She's going to say, that's a good idea, and then you're going to do it. So anyway, you were kind of like the boyfriend to the artist that was in our studio, and you life know, partner. Like life partner. And, you know, you guys have a offspring together and stuff like that. Anyway, but the point is like you just were like, you weren't like, hey, your studio sucks. Like, you were just like, you would see something, instead of pointing it out and saying like, you should do this, you were like, hey, what do you think about having a sign that changes colors and is outside, you know, like an LED colors, you know, sign that changes colors. And then and I said, yeah, go ahead. And you did it. And that's the thing, is that was the intro, was like, you were somebody who had talent and have this ability of thinking like, I could
That's so
probably
sweet.
build that sign, but I would, I don't have the time or the interest or the knowledge to know how to do it. I could figure it out, but the fact that
everyone's got YouTube nowadays. You
Yeah,
can
but
figure
the
out
fact you-
most things except for talents.
But I'm not going to sit and watch YouTube to do that. I'm just going to, but you threw that in our lap. You threw that ball in our court and you hit it into my court and you said, hey, let's do this. And then you're like, hey, let's do, what do you think if I do a half wall and do my woodworking? And then you're like, what if I do podcasts? So
what if I build a table
Yeah.
and all sorts of shit? Yeah.
yeah, and then so that was the thing is you inserted your talent and it's like you didn't whatever
I snuck into his DMs.
and it's like you didn't go to school for that or whatever, but you have knowledge through work and all that stuff, and you brought there's stuff that you do that I'm just awed by that I know that you can do. It's like Michael, when he helped me build a present for my mom in the garden. We did an arbor and this cool stuff, and something would have taken me 8 hours. He can help me do in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And even if it was me and one other person that didn't know what we were doing, it would still take us 8 hours. I'm just saying, like, he has that vision. He can see things out and has a skill for that. So I respect that, and it's like, that's the thing in life, want the youth to know. And I wish if I wasn't lazy and I actually had resources, there's someone out there that can do it, is build a school that's based off a trade base. Teach math, teach science, teach, cooking, culinary stuff, all that stuff, but all to basically trade and teach people how to have job and life skills, because that's the bottom line. Is like, you put these tests and all this crap in front of kids and memorization. I understand that's important. I understand it's important in math to take a small formula and then make it more complex so your mind expands and learns.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that's not going to get them the job. Getting them passionate about teaching, getting them passionate about cooking, getting them passionate about ceramics or art or auto body stuff or programming. There's kids now that are programming, they're 7 years old, and getting them trade based in things and making that happen. It's like, okay, if you're going to learn about world history and stuff, then take the kids to museums and if you're going to teach them about poverty, don't just have them collect money for UNICEF. Take them down to a place and volunteer for, the food bank and do stuff and put them there, because they're sponges and they're ready to learn. And you wonder why they're sitting there on their phones in class, or they're throwing stuff at the teacher, or they're not respecting. It's because they're bored and because they are very intelligent life forms and they want a purpose. And when you consistently tell them, hey, math, science, all these things you're failing at is what determines whether you're smart or not, they have no outlets. They have no
Agreed.
place to go. And when people ask me, when did you become an artist or whatever, what was your path? It's like, when I started having success at something that I enjoyed and actually, my brain works that way.
That's how I feel. I've met a lot of people that have gone to college for specific things, such as doctors and other shit, and it's like they know a lot of shit about one thing.
Yeah.
Which is, it's phenomenal. And it's like, you graduated high school, you went on to be a doctor, you're benefiting the world, all this stuff. It's phenomenal. I couldn't even compare myself to what some of these people do. But I'm like, and then there's other things like, oh, well, you didn't go to college for this. And I'm like, well, why would I need to go to college? This is a life experience.
Yeah.
This is something I should learn and pick up in a few minutes, because I understand all the basic technologies about it.
Yeah.
I understand how to speak. Okay, let's say you're going into a sales position.
Yeah.
You understand in your own head the primary goal is to get something from you to that person.
Yeah.
And so deep down inside that's something to talk about that.
Yeah.
To boost that up. And I was like, I utilize that a lot, but I've never gone to school for it. Same with the woodworking thing.
But that's the thing is like, and it's also because it's not your work in general, but like I've seen you sell like Mallory's work, and you have a talent for that, and I could see like,
dude, I could sell dick at a dyke convention.
Yeah, I'm
sorry. I'm sorry.
That's the thing is like, you could sell.
It was a joke.
My favorite is a ketchup popsicle to like an Eskimo, white gloves. But it's like, I think the thing is like there are people that are out there that like I know run galleries and stuff that don't have that salesman stuff, and I understand you don't want to make it cheap and whatever, but it's important. You know how to talk about work, and you know how to acknowledge the person, and like and know, and you never know. Like that's the thing in like art and galleries and like whatever. I understand. I don't know what it's like to run like an established prestige gallery, but I'm just saying like when we have our.
Are you kidding me? That whole Axis setup? I know you didn't run it, but motherfucker.
But I'm just saying,
amazeballs.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, thank you. And I'm just saying, like, when we run, Collab is like, it's an art studio, but, some people work there sometime, but it's mainly like a showroom for our art walk and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gallery.
But it's like, it's important for us. It's important for us to be able. It's not a lot of artists. We're introverted, but it's important for us to be able to sell our work. Actually do what you do. And there's a lot of people that run spaces that don't know how to sell other people's work and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because people want to have a conversation. They want to have a relationship because the art speaks to them, and they want to know more about it, and they want to know that artist and whatever. And it's like.
That's the whole purpose of this.
So many people think and so many people think they're just like a Coke machine where someone's just going to walk up, see what's available, and buy it. And it's like, it's not that. You're not Coke yet. You're not like something that people crave. You're not addicting yet. And so it's like, you kind of have to invite them in, and you don't want to be a dude, like a dick when they walk into your space and like ignore them. You want to say, what's up, and let them come to you after that, but at least greet them so that they know that they're welcome in the space and they're having a good.
I love the people that come up to me with your stuff and they're like, "Is this yours?" I'm like, "Fuck, I wish."
Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing is, someone
Rob.
comes.
I will go get him.
But that's the thing is, like, some people, they walk past Megan, they come straight. I'll be sitting behind the desk or whoever's there, and they come and they say, I want to, like, who is that? Whose art is that? Is that yours? And that's the thing is, like, we invite them to, I'm glad we have that vibe that they can ask, and then they want to meet that artist because they see this great stuff. And it's also, you have 6 artists in one space. You don't know what, who belongs to what. But that's the thing is, people want to know. And some people don't. I get that. But a lot of people want to have that connection and meet the artist and talk about and ask why they did it or whether they're buying it or not. They want to know that. And that's the thing is, you never know who's going to walk in your door. You never know who's going to walk into collab. People have grabbed our cards before and then came back via emails first, or just come back a month later.
I had that with my pipes.
And bought original pieces. And that's the thing is, like, my advice out there, if I'm mentoring the world or anybody, get your freaking get your works available. Get your works available, and then business cards, and it's longevity, because it's like one of the most amazing artists who was in Happy Time, gallery for a bit down the hallway, and Dave Ryan. He does a lot of records and spray paint, pop culture stuff, amazing work. But Manticore. He is at every free. I mean, sometimes I think
dude is on the hustle.
I think sometimes I mean, he's got it down to a science, how to build a booth anywhere and adapt it, but also how to fit it in his car. But basically, like, I think he doesn't have other people run his booth. Like, maybe if he goes and takes a food break or whatever, or something he has to leave. But I'm just saying, like, I think he's able to be physically in 2 places at once, because I swear every single event that I see either on Facebook or I've gone to, he's at. And that's the thing is, like, I respect that, because he is doing it. He is hustling. And that takes a lot of energy and a lot of...
Oh, that was Mallory. Like, year 1, 2, and 3 of her artwork was just... It was booth here, booth there, every fucking weekend. If the sun was shining, we were out. If it was raining, we were out.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And now she's at a point where she gets to level that out a little bit and do a lot more of the studio stuff. And I'm hoping for more gallery, especially with this whole gem thing that she's doing. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm gonna say is, like, I'm gonna put a little plug out. Is the collab space, Greenwood Collective, every second Friday in Greenwood between 87th and 85th on the west side. Go down the stairs by Subway sandwich or come in through Urban Light Studios. But we're there. There's like 6-7 spaces with like 30 artists down there every month.
It's amazing.
And currently, I'm going to say, so my contact information, I have mainly right now just Instagram and Facebook. Robert Bellm Art Side on Facebook, and Instagram is 12 Birds. But you can find a way to contact me, send me a message. And if you're interested in joining the Greenwood Collective at any point, or we're actually looking for an artist to fill a wall, you can private message me or send me an email. And we're looking for local Seattle artists that are willing to show their work.
How local to Seattle? Would Everett or Enumclaw be okay with you?
You can, as long as
they're willing to show up.
As long as you're willing to show up second Friday in Greenwood. And granted, we usually on average, there's 12 months in a year, and I'm still right. And we don't expect 100% attendance. 10 out of 12 would be nice, but because people travel, whatever, things happen in life, you get sick. But the point is the longevity and the way you be successful in Greenwood is being there every month and being there for your work. If I'm selling your work, it's not going to be the same as you being there.
Exactly.
And we're looking for an artist to take over an 8x8 wall. I can go over, costs and stuff privately, but yeah, if you want it, it's a space you can work at. Chavez is doing his podcast there and utilizing the space amazingly, and I'm glad it gets used. If you want to set up a table, you can do stuff. I work out of home. That's better for me. I don't want to lug my stuff back and forth, and that's just how I work. But it's more of a showroom and space than.
Yeah, if you want to be part of this, please contact either Robert Bellm, that's Bellm,
correct,
or the Artist Alliance podcast, or that's probably it, or maybe some other people in the gallery if you know
Robert Bellm at gmail.com.
There you go.
There. You can figure out how to spell it and get it right or you get it wrong.
It's
but
RobertBellm
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah, so you don't have a website.
I don't, and that's don't do what I do. Have a website. It's important to have one. I have business cards, which are finally redid, and I have Facebook, Instagram. I'm a weird kid. I got the internet on my phone. I just don't have it at home, and I used to update my website and do that stuff. It
was a little different a couple years ago. Now there's massive influx to online ordering.
Yeah, I'm schizophrenic, so I'll
don't say that shit.
In the sense sometimes I'll show up and
he's ADD. Okay.
No, but I'm just saying in the sense of Jekyll and Hyde was sometimes I'll be like, I am an artist and that's all my passion, what I'm doing, and then I'm like, the other time I'm like, art is a hobby, I do it on the side, and I have a full-time job, and it's whatever. So I always have my toe halfway in, halfway out, so it's comfortable for me. So there's things I need
that's a bummer I've seen with a lot of people, is that 40 plus, that 40-hour work, work week plus overtime or whatever. It's good financially for the people, but it causes a massive hindrance in a lot of cases.
I respect any artist that attempts to make a living doing 100%. If you're just that's my only income, I respect. And that's the thing.
Busting your hustle to get that.
And speaking of amazing artists that do that, it's Mallory. That's the one thing is bringing her in the space was. It was intimidating at first because I was for a while we were showing there, and it's there wasn't, there's me and Kurt and we had other people, but it's we had less people in the space. So there wasn't, other successful, we didn't share the room with 6 successful or 5 other successful artists. So if someone came in, they would either buy, one of the 3 artists' work, or just, if it was just me and Kurt, they would just buy our work. And whatever, but it was intimidating at first, but it was such a blessing because she came in with, and then also the stuff that you've taught her to do and stuff, but maybe she doesn't consider herself marketing genius, but by putting your stuff on everything, but tasteful stuff, not coffee. There are no Mallard Milky Mayhem coffee cups, but the like wristlet stuff, the stuff that she just flies out the wall, and like the stuff with the watercolor.
And by the way, everything she sells, she fucking makes.
Exactly.
So her handbags that she makes,
Everything.
makes them.
Yeah.
Nobody else makes them for her. She does it.
You helped her with the router jig and all those like hand painted.
Yeah, her painting kits.
The painting kits, she hand routes all those things, and that's the thing. But that was infectious. That was a great person. Like, I feel like she offers and rubs off more on the other artists than I do, and that's like my self-loathing.
She rubbed off on me for sure.
But I'm just saying, like, I think everybody like Megan came in and had a lot of stuff, but Megan's like marketed her stuff really well, and Megan's last name. Sorry, my brain isn't working, but Megan, who's in our studio's last name is.
Oh my God, I don't know any of their last names.
Oh, jeez.
I know yours and Mallory's.
All right, that's bad. Anyway,
that's bad. I'm also day drunk.
Megan Nolan Smith. There you go. Okay.
There we go. Noel
Smith. There you go. Okay.
Nolan.
Nolan. I'm just making stuff up. But Megan Noel Smith, her stuff has, the first time I met her was when Max and Push Pull were doing the comic book little thing in the hallway, and she's like, yeah, her line drawings and comics or zines were amazing. And then she had some stuff, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And she's like, yeah, they're kind of expensive because they're original like watercolors. And I'm no, they're perfectly priced and they're beautiful. And that's how I never saw anything framed or big or anything. And so she came in and she had a couple things in frames, and now it's like she's got like, and she gets a lot of traffic, and she gets a lot of people are buying her stickers and buying her stuff, because she's also, I feel, from that influence of Mallory, like we all have realized all these different ways. Like, I've kind of stopped at prints, and that was the influence, and she's helped me do my paper prints. But that's the thing is, like, I feel everybody kind of like not necessarily one-ups each other, but they definitely like
help.
Yeah, and they want their game to be on point, because you're definitely, if you slough at Greenwood Collective, if you slough at Collab, and I'm not saying we're better or worse or whatever, but I'm just saying if you put up a bad wall, your stuff is going to look, if you're lazy, your stuff is going to look different, and it's going to.
Thanks a lot.
And no, but I'm just saying, like, whatever, your stuff was amazing before the water damage and all the other like cyclone that came, things we've had issues with.
I really like the lightsabers. I wish somebody would buy those, because those are fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, they're cool. And I just, my thing is like, everybody wants it. I think that your thing is that I know you said you like to kind of do a thing, process it, and then do something else. You like to go through stuff, and so that's fine. And I think that's and you also like to help other people facilitate their art. And so that's the thing is like where I don't do that as much. I do that time to time. You put more energy in that. And so I think if all you did was facilitate your own projects, then yeah, there would be more. But that's the thing is, like, we all inspire each other. We're going to finally eventually have a collab day where we all get in and do artwork around each other or whatever.
Fuck yeah.
We canceled it this weekend to relax and stuff.
To do this. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But we're hanging out at the beach right now.
It's out. I just
drinking beer.
Right. Cat's out of the bag.
Drinking beer and podcasting.
But I needed this. I mean, after the art show, that was the thing is, like, after finishing the show with Claudio and Axis, it was kind of like you have this weird thing where this, like, all your stress goes away, and then what you do with your life, because I've just this feeling to stop, like this, I had to finish and complete this deadline, and I did, and the show turned out not exactly how I want it, but I got great feedback, and I'm
Dude,
proud of it.
Your show is fucking amazing.
I'm proud of it, but I'm a perfectionist. I always want more, and that's the one thing that I'm always wanting to learn. But
sorry if anybody can hear the wind noise right now. It's a little breezy. Yeah, whatever. We take what we can get.
Yeah.
The breeze is beautiful. I wish you were here, all of you. Everybody watching right now, I wish we were all here having a fantastic party.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I'm excited. This is what I needed after a show. And, I'm going to do a little PSA out there, letting people know it's hard. I'm bad at it. I'm learning a way. I'm going to mount mine to the dashboard, but I just got in an accident Monday, and it's affected my life. Luckily, I'm safe and the other person is safe, but I was distracted by a stupid rock hitting my windshield. But I would have felt awful had I been playing with my phone. Put your phones away, find a way to like Bluetooth it or so whatever, but the law's going to change in Washington State. But also you have a chance to like negatively affect somebody through and yourself in a car accident. So
Absolutely.
Be careful,
if you're in a high velocity machine,
I need to learn because I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of texting.
I'm with you too.
All like playing with my radio or whatever, but like make the switch now, do that.
Focus on the road. To hell with the phone, to hell with the other shit. Focus on what's in front of you. If you hear a noise, maybe pull over and check it out.
Yeah, no shit. Like,
but pay attention to the road, please, because your safety is number one in your whole life. If you have to keep going, even if you have children to raise, at that point your safety is required by them. You have to do this.
Invaluable, yeah.
And it's a thing we've all been guilty of. I've done the same thing. I get a text, I look at it, and I'm like, oh shit, lock up the brakes.
Yeah, I'm glad that someone asked me, and like, oh, that's not fair. And it's like, no, I'm glad that because everyone got around the law, and it was like hands-free phones, but then, people still held them or put them in their lap or whatever. And now the law in Washington State, if you're holding your phone,
you can get a DUI now for your phone, an e-DUI in Washington.
What's that?
As of Sunday. Did you see that?
No.
They will issue a series of 3 tickets. Your first offense is like $99.
Wow.
If you're holding your phone, if you're holding something else and your phone, and it's caught like on dash cam or something, they can prove it, then you're double fined.
Wow.
Then it's if you have a cigarette and your phone, that's 2. If you have a water bottle and your phone, that's 2.
You're not allowed to hold a water bottle?
No, you're perfectly allowed to hold a water bottle. If you're swerving all over the place because you can't fucking see because you're chugging water like a champ, maybe that might be an issue. But their whole thing is about the phones. Yeah. And it's the phone is... It's very distracting. It really is. And when you're in a 2,000-pound machine that's hurtling down the road at 70 miles an hour, you really impact somebody else's life in a negative way.
You can cut this one thing out if you want to cut thing. If I'm not allowed to do this, but
no.
Hands out to I'm just going to do a cheers to Toyota manufacturing. Maybe you're not perfect, but I survived hitting somebody with my car and. Feel horrible about it. I'm sore, but I'm alive, and that's like
You're
I focus
alive.
on
the people in front of you are alive.
Yeah, I'm focusing on all the like materialistic, stupid things in life. What my poor car, all the inconvenience and things. But that's the thing. Shout out to my parents; they're good people. They're helping me out. But I survived in the Toyota, and
I just drank that whole growler.
Wow. So anyway, collab, come out, check us out, check out Greenwood Collective. I tell people, if you don't even step into collab, you don't even come look at my artwork. That's why I invite you because I'm an artist. Come check out the 6 other spaces with all the other art, because you're gonna find something that you will fall in love with, and you're gonna find local artists that are very talented, that are not, some of them are very success. There's different levels of success, or like people that are skill and whatever. But I'm just saying, like, you can get affordable. You can take home an affordable piece of original artwork, or something that has their artwork on it. And this is like before one or all of these people hit it big, and you're not going to be able to get it. So if you want local art and you're interested in different styles and different products and different things, and you want something that's not, that's one of a kind or one of 60, like, come out and check out the stuff like Second Friday.
And that's the thing, is you don't necessarily have to be a painter. You can be a sketch artist. You can be a sculptor. If you have an art, confront us about it. We're totally down to help out. I personally would greatly love to have you on the podcast if you have any type of art that you're dedicated to, such as Rob himself or Mallory or any of my previous guests. If you have something that you're dedicated to, that you consider an art, maybe not, beer pong. Beer pong's not really an art, but I've I've opened what I believe is art to a lot. I will even take a lot of just expressionary art, which is it's a thing, but to a lot of people it's stupid. You know, when you see a little glass box and they're like, "This represents your emptiness," I'm like, I get it, I understand it.
This half of glass of cider, this represents this part, my emptiness. And this is like my fulfillment and enjoyment.
He's drinking his fulfillment away.
And family and friends and that thing. And
so, yeah, it's... I'm sure we would gladly accept other people that aren't even artists. Like me. I don't paint.
Yeah,
but I'm there.
Our only requirements are that you're willing to show up, 10 to 12 months out of the year, and you want to like market your stuff, you want to have your wall presentable. And the thing is that
interested in actually
just know if you're paying for a space and you're not able to do a podcast or you're not able to paint out of there, if you're paying there, it's like we're open mainly the one day from 6 to 10 every second Friday out of the month, and know that you have to bring it in that time. And so like you don't have to like have buttons and t-shirts and all that other stuff, but the ability, our requirements are that you want.
But if you want them, we fucking know people. That's how we do.
Yeah.
We're a community. We're a wonderful community.
Someone's got a button maker. Yeah. Someone's got a printer. Someone's got a t-shirt press. Absolutely. Someone's got something. That's the thing.
I watch Mallory help out a lot of people.
Yeah.
She helps you with the prints. Yeah. One of our friends met with prints and buttons and stuff, and teaches some things to other people and
stickers. And like I've let her borrow my button maker.
And none of that. Melissa alone. She's not with us anymore in the studio, but she's helped me and Mallory got our way through certain things that she does.
Melissa Crisetto, who is also on the podcast, she was
numero uno.
She is we got to hang out with her last month during Art Walk, and she's an honorary member of Collab, and just doesn't go away, and like she left us. But opened up to another amazing artist of a Barbie and
Statman.
She's
Barbie Statman.
Yeah, she's an amazing artist as well. But Melissa came back and hung out with us and was like, she never left, and it was like, that's the thing is like these artists, and there's different stuff. It was like what Joey was talking about on your podcast. It was great listening to that. Is like he was like, the people are stingy about information, and we also, some of us. I mean, there's things that I haven't been like. I'm kind of like, oh, those are my secrets.
Exactly.
But that's how we learned before YouTube.
Deep secrets.
But before YouTube, there were the people that are the person that helped him learn about resin and stuff like that, and that's
apprenticers.
And that's the thing is like knowledge. And one of the projects that I did a whole Facebook thing and never followed through, but what I want to do is have an open studio day and have somebody not necessarily teach, but just say, this is what I'm covering today, and this is a basic skill that this is how if someone wants to say, this is how you stretch a canvas.
Let's do a collab class.
So you can basically come in, and the only thing that's going to cost you is that maybe you sign up, you agree to teach a skill later, but is that you pay for your own supplies, but it's just like you're learning something that day.
Absolutely. Or
just being around somebody and asking them like, how do you mix your colors? What are your preferences in paint? Or like, how do you, some people like they seen me paint, come over to my studio, and like when I was locked up in this solitary confinement trying to finish a show, I started realizing I was conflicted because I wanted to go out and hang out with people, but I just started inviting people over to the studio, and then they're like, whoa, that's what you do. And it's like, yeah, that's like my process, and they had no idea. And it was cool just to have people come hang out because I can still work, but I just couldn't leave, and it's like
at that point, it's kind of like work, but you're not really getting paid for it. But you are getting paid in the fact that you're transmitting your knowledge to another human.
Yeah.
Then the few things that as a person can benefit other people in the world.
Yeah, I think
hands down.
The connection with other people and learning stuff, and that is to me like what's important in life. That's the meaning of life, is building that connection, because it's like, unless it's a snow day or unless you're camping and you're around like the communal like water spigot, washing your dishes, like people don't talk to each other anymore, and like people just go about their business. So like anytime I can have a human interaction, like teach somebody, inspire somebody, and learn a skill, and they can teach me a skill. I've learned how to mosaic through Debbie, and Michael is I want to learn how to weld, and we built my first power tool racer. We built a couple. One was more successful, but it's like learning new things and learning skills, and it's like when someone says, like Megan once said to me, she says, I painted this bird because I was inspired by the birds you paint. Like that's cool, and like I remember the first thing that inspired me to do A, B, or C.
All for inspiration, but please don't mimic. As much as possible.
It's tough.
Don't take that person's entire portfolio as what they do and transpire it as your own kind of thing. Like take what you've learned and use that learning as an inspiration for yourself.
Yeah, that comes to an interesting point, and there could be a lot of views on that. And it's like I started teaching to a group of 6th graders, and it was after another teacher who basically told the kids if they copy something when you're doing a drawing, that's plagiarism. And it's like if you're telling somebody that something that you did that's going to complete exact copy of somebody else's is your original artwork, yes, that's plagiarism. But if you're using that tool, because it was funny, because I was in school at the time when I was teaching it, and I'm like, I'm paying, other people are paying, I
don't think I'm on camera right now. I've just been like leaning off the whole time.
Where did Chavez go? Other people have been paying, thousands of dollars to go to art school, and then the instructors tell you, buy these drawings that Michelangelo and Raphael did and then copy them exactly in your sketchbook. And so we all learn to like copy and mimic. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, the thing is like every once in a while I'll ask, does my stuff, because my stuff has patterns, does it look too much like Mallory stuff, and does it look too much like Megan stuff? I think like we rub off on each other, but I think the main thing is it's not the work that you do that's similar to other people at that time. Other influencers are gonna rub off on you, but then where do you take that? Do you just take that influence and try to do what they do, or does it eventually like settle down and then you kind of dust off the debris and pick the pieces and the influences and the skills that you get and create your own thing out of that? And I think that's what's important. I mean, it's like,
and then following somebody else's path is a similar form of plagiarism. Like let's say somebody does a series of drawings, like let's say a comic book.
Yeah.
Somebody decides to do a comic book, and then their good friend does comic books also, but different.
Yeah.
And then that other person decides, I'm going to do umbrellas. I'm going to put my artwork on umbrellas. And then the other person, there's a path that can be taken by a lot of people, which is, it's perfectly fine to follow other people's paths. They're obviously proven and true. But if you can find a way to adapt that path to your talents and not so much of copying their ideas as much, is also good. I mean, if you have to, you have to. There's certain things.
I think there's
no restrictions. I mean, you can literally copy somebody else's work. I don't recommend that you sell it.
Yeah.
If you sell somebody else's work that's almost exactly like yours, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, my thing is like I've done that. I've been that, like somebody else is making t-shirts, I want to make t-shirts. Somebody else is making buttons, I want to do that. I get that. And that's the thing is like
But it's like, okay, so somebody else makes buttons and they have nothing but octopuses.
Yeah.
And so what do? You make buttons with octopuses?
Yeah.
Or with certain things on it that other person does because that was inspirational? No. The inspiration comes from, maybe I should make buttons, but put an entirely different spectrum of things on it,
Yeah, and that's the thing is like there's people that it's hard because it's like so much nothing. I mean, I can't say nothing is original anymore, but everything is kind of regurgitated, repetition or different something else. And it's like there's amazing artists out there,
contextual replication,
like Jesse Link, and it's like I decided to paint a bear, and he's done some amazing bears, but out of the back of my head, I'm like, I think my bear looks nothing like his stuff, but it's like in the back of it, it's like, does he have like the bear market, like,
exactly.
Territory covered, and it's like I don't want to step on somebody's toes, but it's like I was trying to get, like, especially in this last show that Claudio and I did, I was trying to slowly step away with just painting birds. For those of you who know my work or haven't seen it, the older work is just like, I went through a phase where I painted a lot of birds. And that's the thing of the struggle. The size, I went from, the average size I would do is probably like 8x10, 9x12 or smaller. So painting on 3x4 foot canvases and around that range was a lot more difficult. Show was a trial. And I was also painting subject matter that I didn't know as well, you know? And so that's the thing is, like, I'm kind of looking at what's out there. I'm looking at, like, real live animals and pictures on Google. And then I try to, like, I don't know how you are, but, like, or other artists are there, but sometimes, like, I won't add people. I discover somebody's art that I was like, oh, I was thinking about that. And I won't add them on Facebook or Instagram because it's like, there's a point where I don't want too many artists to influence what I do because I don't want to be like, I still want to discover stuff for myself, and I still want to discover, and I want to be able to do that and not feel like I'm copying or being too influenced.
You want a little while for that artist to render in your brain, and actually you come up with your own idea of what they're doing and do your own.
Yeah, and it's like, if I'm thinking about doing, like, you know, like painting a bear or painting like a fish with a pink background, and then I see a fish already painted beautifully, like I was kind of maybe like in my brain when I see theirs, I was like, oh, I was going to do that, or I wanted to do that. I still want to have that experience without being, that's the thing, that damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's a lot of great things in social media. You learn so much. You get to see so many great artists out there, but it's like, sometimes it's like, I don't feel like I could ever be the person that, like, doesn't see anybody and locks themselves up in a mountain, like, cabin, or, like, is isolated and still creating great art. But it's like, sometimes I want to be influenced, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, that's too much. That's too much information, because I want to, like, because that's the thing is, like, everything to me is art, and whether it's this tree I'm staring at that you think I'm not talking to you, it's just the way I angled this stupid chair today.
What do you mean stupid chair? This is the dopest chair.
It's hella comfortable, but I'm not facing you, and I didn't stage it that way. And so, but I'm just saying, like, I'm influenced, and everything, you know, people ask, like, what influences your art, and it's everything. I mean, it's like, I had, one of my favorite stories to tell is I had an artist, a teacher that was fine art. When I went to school, I just wanted to do illustration. I didn't want to do fine art, and I didn't know what fine art was, and I was just like, can I just skip this class? I'm telling the chair of this school that I don't want to be in their department. I don't want to take any fine art classes. And he just, you know, we went to a show and saw the Jeff Koons, Michael Jackson, Bubbles the Chimp, that ceramic piece, this beautiful piece. And I was just like, why the fuck would that dude make that? Like, that's so crap. And like this John the Baptist one, and I was like, what is this? And he's like, maybe art isn't there for you to say whether it's beautiful or not. Maybe it's for you to say, like, what in life, what was my experience, or for me to accept that as being beautiful or whatever. And so for then on, I started looking at everything. Like, even I feel like I'm not the best person. There's sometimes when someone shows me something, like, I don't know what to fucking say, but I can always look at something else that they've done and said, but this piece, I really like the color in this, whatever. And I can always learn and appreciate something that they've created and something about that. So I think it's like, you know, art is great that way. And I think, like, you know, I'm open to learn, but yeah, there's certain times where I shut off my influences, and like, I'm like, I don't want to see. It's kind of like, it's like the first time you've played a video game and beat that video game, like, people know what it's like to play, like, Zelda or Super Mario, but before the magazines came out. Like, I played Zelda with the magazines and knew where things were and shit. But can you imagine that feeling?
I didn't. I grew up poor. We weren't about to buy magazines.
Before you knew about the extra lives and the warp zones in Mario, can you imagine, like, accomplishing something in life, anything in life, without having a roadmap and seeing it done, like watching your friend play?
No, you would hear from life.
Yeah.
Like even with the video games, one of my friends told me, "Hey, at the end of Super Mario Brothers, at this level 7-1 or whatever, towards the end, there's some stair steps with some turtles. You jump on them, you get extra
that's
lives."
what I'm saying. But can you imagine, like, before that, like, there's something to discovering things in life on your own and being able to say, I beat Zelda before any cheats, before anybody, I knew where anything was, and there was maps and YouTube videos and all this stuff. I mean, I use YouTube videos when I'm frustrated. I'm like, I don't know how to get past this level.
I still don't do that.
Well, there's certain games, like my favorite games, like freaking, like Assassin's Creed, or there's certain stuff where I'm like, I don't know even where the puzzle is. How do I even get past this room in freaking Skyrim?
Do you know how mad I was with an original Nintendo game called oh fuck, now I don't remember the name of it. But there was a part where you're a hand on the screen, and you can click on things.
Yeah.
And you can use them or take them or whatever. Shadowgate. It was called Shadowgate on original Nintendo.
Yeah.
I just beat that bitch like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was for original Nintendo. Like, we had it in the late 80s, early 90s, and I still just beat it like 6 years ago because of YouTube. It's like there was a point, that was the first game I found an unpassable point.
Yeah.
It's like every other video game I was able to muscle past, and it's like that was the one that was like, fuck. And it was like, oh, you just use this thing that you have. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. So that's just like there's certain, just in life, there's certain things where I just want to I don't want to watch my friend or see somebody else go through it and then do it. I just want to discover and fumble over it and do it in life. And so that's just my take on things.
That's one of my primary takes, especially with Mallory's stuff. She's got those painting kits, right?
Yeah.
And she wanted to know, she's like, how can we hang this?
Yeah.
And our first instinct was to staple wire to it with really short staples so it didn't go through and all this other stuff.
Do that.
I'm glad too, because I in my head I thought to myself, I'm like, why add to something to create a hanging thing when we can remove from something to create a hanging thing? And I learned how to auger a hole into it to create a keyhole for a nail.
Yeah.
Holy shit, did that change the game, because I can knock 30 of those out in a minute, just neat. And I was like, that's so much better.
And I don't know, I hope that people at home can actually hear that sound effect of the like, that was really awesome in my ears right now.
That's what it sounds like.
Verbal, like, euphoria in my ears, like audio. Now it
sounds like a Xerox.
You ruined it. You sound like you're saying no in German, like it's not.
Niet.
Yeah.
Niet.
Yeah. So I don't know. The one thing.
No with enthusiasm.
No with enthusiasm. The last thing I want to talk about in this podcast, and like we'll end it there or like talk about other things, but art has been like something that I protect and is very important to me, and sometimes I share that with friends and family members, and sometimes I don't. And one of my favorite stories is it's like I asked an artist who had a family, and I was staying in a studio in Denver, and he does these sculptures, and he has these beautiful wolves outside the if you're ever in Denver and you go to the art museum, or what is it called, the Natural History Museum in Denver.
Oh.
His name is Rick Sargent, and he did this beautiful.
His name is Rick Sargent.
Rick Sargent, and he did this beautiful wolves out there, but he does beautiful sculptures and installations and things. And he told me, I said, what's the deal, with being an artist, and how do you do it and raise a family? And he said, the thing is that, he said, people understand the noun of art. They can see the picture in the frame and the painting in the frame, or the sculpture, but they don't understand the verb. They don't understand like what it's like, the anguish and the process and the sacrifice. And that's the thing is, I will also dig it up and repost it, but there's this great article that was on Facebook at one point. It was like, Dear Human, not everyone deserves to own original artwork, because people will come up to us and be like, well, I see that that's what you want for that, but I'm going to give you like $100 less or whatever. It's non-negotiable. Leave us, respect what we do, because the sacrifice that you do and the verb to create art is we're never going to make the money that we put in, the time that we put into it, all the hardware, all the materials, all the things that we do. And it's just like people aren't going to get that unless they've been through that creative process and respect. And I was able to have that conversation with my dad. And actually, you know, he asked me about how the show went, and afterwards, and I said, you know, I said the hard thing is, you know, I saw him 2 days before the show, and I said, hey, you know, it's been a hard process because I don't get to see my family or friends as much as I want. I'm sacrificing time to do this art. And then after the show, we had a conversation. He's like, man, I went to your show, and like I saw, he didn't say man, but he was like, I can recognize.
Did he say boy?
The time, boy,
I went to your show.
Boy, I went to your art show, and I saw all. I saw
art.
I saw art, and I saw all the hard work you put. No, but he just said, I respect and saw all the hard work you put into that show, and congratulations, and you should be proud and stuff like that. And it was important to me because it's like, you know, people like, you know, thank you for everybody who came out, and for those who didn't make it, Access Gallery, the first Thursday, it's going to be up 2 more times, Claudio's stuff and my work. And I think you can go visit Access Gallery, Pioneer Square, on Thursdays and go see the artwork. Sienna Dawn, amazing artist.
Amazing.
Curator
stuff.
now. And she's
Sienna Dawn's the curator?
She's the curator now for Access. She's there, nice. I believe, on Thursdays.
We're friends on Facebook. She should come on.
I know she wasn't there. I know she runs the festival, music and art festival, Cascadia, and just did that a couple weekends or a weekend ago. But anyway, you know, they're down there and you can go check out the artwork. But thank you for everybody who was able to or wanted to come out. I really do appreciate it. I had some surprises of people I was not expecting to show up, friends that didn't take time to come out. You were down there, Mallory. It means a lot. And go check it out.
We brought Mom and Grandma.
Yeah, Mom and Grandma were there, and you know I always love hanging out with Mom and Grandma. And I met some cool people, and hopefully if I get my act together, the other thing I'm going to promote is, I'm not guarantee I still got to get approval, but I'm going to, at the next one, I'm going to camp out somewhere in Access Gallery the first Thursday from 5 to 9. And I'm going to bring a box of my sketchbooks. And if you want to sit down and have a conversation with the artist and check out some sketchbooks, one thing I did with a photographer and did a interview that's going to come out eventually with Vera is she's doing also a series of like artist interviews, and she photographs her work and stuff. But you know, we got talking about sketchbooks, and they're hard to display, and it's a hard thing to share with people, but I think it's really important. So look out for that next first Thursday. I'm gonna try to camp out on couch at least for an hour while I have my attention span and sit there and babysit my books, but open up that part of my art to people, because I think that's important for people to get to, you know, see sketchbooks, because they're very hard to display and they're a beautiful part of what we do. And
that's 100% true.
Yeah. And plus, sitting at God, the show was great, but people are like, how'd it go? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. It's like, when you're a musician or you're a comedian, people either go to your show on purpose or they walk into the venue to have a drink and they like see you and they know you're the artist. What do I do when I'm standing? Like, I need to have like
you don't have any self-portraits.
I don't have any self-portraits. I don't have an 8x10 glossy sitting up like
I'd
next
like to
my
see
bio.
you, like your face in a totem.
Yeah, that's the thing. I need to go to like Glamour Shots and get my picture taken and then put it next to my bio so people know what I look like. But it was like, what do you do with yourself at an art show if you're not a well-known artist? Like I feel myself, and there's people walk into the art walk and may not know your work, and maybe they want to talk to you, know the artist, or maybe they don't care, but it's like, I'm just standing there in a room with a couple of my friends and then a bunch of people I don't know staring at my artwork, and it's weird.
That's how I feel a lot. Like when I go into art galleries and I introduce myself to people, I'm like, hey, whose art is this? And they're like, oh, it's that person sitting over there in the corner. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm one of those people. I I've always been camera shy,
Yeah.
like my whole life.
Me too.
And that's what makes this a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
This is via video, so I just kind of forget that the camera's there and just talk and listen to you. I pretty much focus on the microphones and the person, but.
I just stare at this tree in front of me, ignore you completely. I had that problem last time. It's like I have this conversation to the side, or like I think last time I mainly talked to the camera, which is so like embarrassing. But like,
don't ever be embarrassed. It's a learning curve for everyone, especially. That's the one thing I've loved is prior to the podcast, people were like, do I look at the camera? I'm like, bitch, this ain't CNN. No. I'm like, just sit here and talk with me. Yeah. I'm like, because then I'm going to look at the camera. I'm going to get all flustered and discombobulated. Yeah. And it's one of those things where you go and you meet an artist, and that's why I started doing this.
Yeah.
Because half the time when you meet an artist, they're flustered. You're a new person to them. They've never met you. I'm like,
this is so casual. This
could help a lot of people. You imagine how many people see this and then they see you and they're like, oh wow, he's a chill dude, and then they actually come and meet you in your gallery and you're like,
and then I'm an asshole, and then
then he's all it's me the same way. I've started working on that, and it helped with Mallory's work because I try and sell Mallory stuff as hard as possible.
You're amazing.
Like I hit that shit like a car salesman sometimes, but in
a tasteful way too.
Yeah, and on the side note, that's super easy to do with somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
To do that with your own stuff, my shit that's hanging on the wall in the gallery, I try. When people show up, and I go over and I talk to them.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what we do at the space is like, I'm willing to talk about your art and then introduce you so you can tell them the details. But that's the thing is like, that's part of the...
I'm still at that point where somebody asks me about your art or Megan's or anybody else in the studio. I'm just like, let me go get that person.
Yeah. Well, two things I want to
shit. I'm like, they're a new person.
Two things that I, and this is technology, but I want to talk about, like, with these projects and the podcast is one we've already discussed, and I'll get at that a little bit. But now that we have access to more mics and stuff. One thing I would, it could be different because you have your vision. I don't want to change your vision, but one thing I would like to do is with like you, me, and Mallory sit around is try to do like and test it out, see if it even worked. But do a podcast, like a live one that people can maybe tweet in or talk to us and ask us questions.
I have been thinking the
but
same
like
thing.
Do something like that, like because I wanted the reason why I purchased a mic, thank you to Amazon and some equipment, is because you told me that when I asked last time, you said it was expensive, and I was like, I'm gonna own up and do it. And the other thing is like I want to do like a round table and like have discussions about art and do that, and that's a separate thing from like what you're doing, but I'm just saying that would be awesome. The other project I think is like we were both excited about is
the live show.
The live show, yes. Which is going to be awesome. We're
going to do a live show on Facebook and hopefully YouTube also.
Yeah.
To where we're going to live stream this. This is the goal at Greenwood Art Walk. And so that
upstairs and
all the artists that want to, please contact me or even Rob for that matter, because he's going to be part of this too. You can contact me at Travis Malash at Gmail, him at Robert Bellm at Gmail, or Artist Alliance Podcast at Gmail.
Go through Artist Alliance Podcast because it's your thing, but I'm just like, we're willing to talk about it. But yeah, I mean,
we want multiple artists, especially if you're not part of the gallery. Like that inspires me, and it helps. It'll help a lot if you come through. You sit here. I'll have free beer and wine and other drinks, but you can come through. You can sit there and bullshit. I mean,
I think it's a great idea, even if like some people stay for like 5 minutes, but to get like everybody in the Greenwood Gallery in one night to come by and say hi and talk a little bit and just and promote themselves, because that's our thing. Is
we're looking at a 4 or 5 hour stream here, 4 hours, 6 to 10 kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's the one thing is like I feel like artists is like we're all learning how to promote ourselves, and we're all our best and worst enemy, and like I just feel that it's important. Many times,
if it becomes a thing, we can do this a lot too.
Yeah, and it's it breaks my heart. The Greenwood Collective, first of all, like shout out to Andy Miller, shout out to John Osgood and Cash and a bunch of people. But my introduction to the Greenwood Collective was through Andy Miller, and my friend was friends with somebody who knew Andy invited us to a show, and they did an owl show,
Now,
and like I found out.
What does Andy Miller do?
Andy Miller is in Bellm Studios, and he is a muralist and a painter and a photographer, and an amazing guy, and I consider him a brother from another mother, and
Andy's the shit. Andy's got some dope stuff.
Yeah, and so that's how I got in. And so many times people walk into Greenwood Collective and be like, "Oh, I thought you guys just did it every May or once a year," or "I've never been here before." The one that breaks my heart is I've just now figured this out, like that you guys are down here in this hole in the wall place.
Oh, really? That inspires me so much.
And then I'm moving out of town. That breaks my heart because I'm just like, we're not the best collective. We're not like, we have amazing, talented artists. But I'm just saying, the thing is there's not a lot of places. There's a lot of studios, Georgetown, other stuff. But even then, you're walking down hallways of offices of chiropractors and other stuff. Stuff might not be open. All of our studio spaces are always there. Maybe one or two artists might not be there that month, but all of the spaces open for the art walk especially. And so you can go down there and go down and there's an installation.
I'm going to tell you what, if you go down there 2 months in a row and the artist isn't there, question it. And if they're not there because they just don't show up, maybe
email them and tell them, I'd like to meet you. You should come down and like hang out. But my point is like there's not a lot of places where you can go and see 30 artists at one time, and they're accessible and their work's affordable and they're talented, and it's in one space. You don't have to walk down the street. Urban Light Studios curates an artist, so they have an extra artist every month or a group show, and that's the thing is I met Barbie, who's in our studio now, through them. She had a show at Urban Light Studios, and it's like you're gonna find one thing. Like, I'll buy you a beer if you come down and you at least didn't try. I mean, you can try Kevin's beer. You can get a free glass of wine from us if you're legal.
Tell you what, if you reference the podcast, I will give you a beer.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you come down 100%. There, I will buy you a beer if you don't enjoy or find something, because it's like it's a new world, and you'll discover it, and you'll be like better off once you did. It's definitely opened my eyes, and then that opened my eyes to the Dune drawing group at Cafe Racer. Plug them. That's an amazing situation. Go draw. You submit a drawing that you do at the cafe every third Tuesday, and they're in the Ravenna area, and the next month you submit $3 in your drawing, and you get a zine. Max was doing it for a while. God, I want to say Rich, I don't remember, sorry, but Mark, I think it is, who's doing it now. But they produced the zine Dune, and the other thing is there's Dronk. Casey Weldon has done drawing nights once a month.
Dronk?
Yeah.
Dronk is awesome.
Yeah, Casey Weldon, amazing artist, amazing contributor to Seattle art culture and world. And he does at the Pioneer Square Saloon every day of the month except the one time on Wednesday. They're at the Unicorn, and they do life drawing. But that's a great all these different come to Dronk, come to Dune, come to Greenwood Art Walk, and it's like those are your gateway drugs to more art world. If you're an artist in Seattle and you don't know anybody, like I moved back to Seattle and I didn't know anybody, and Greenwood Collective opened up all these that's like when I started beautiful this, windows.
I didn't know Joey. We're in the same
or the artist's work, and it's like when plug to Ryan Henry Ward, like when he organized a group of us misfits to go out to the gorge, I met 40 artists that I was Facebook friends with. Too. Yeah, 40 artists I was Facebook friends with that I didn't know who they were, and then we got to sit around and drink beers or sit around and around the campfire. Or what we didn't have a campfire, but whatever. Sit and BS and meet these artists and see them work and all this stuff. I met Charm through that. I was amazing artists. I met just a lot of other amazing artists that who videographers, photographers, musicians, other people. Shout out to Grace Love, played main stage, and I'm sad to say admit that I didn't get to see you play that night, but I've listened to your music before and seen you live, and you're an amazing soul, an amazing musician. But that's the thing is, like, that's what life is opening up your experiences, open up those doors and those windows for you to go through and see new things. And that's the thing is, like, art world Seattle can be a place where you don't know anybody, but like come to these places and you can meet other artists and meet opportunities, because there's tons of artists out there that want that type of network, that want those type of experiences and that connection. Before I knew about these drawing nights, I remember going to a breakfast place and I saw 4 people. And I almost wanted to interrupt and be like, "Can I join your drawing time and like sit around the table and draw with you guys?" I don't know you, but I should have.
If that's something you're thinking about, try it.
Yeah,
give it a shot.
I mean, they can say no, or inspire. If they say no, then it inspires you to start your own drawing night. And
exactly.
That's the thing about Casey is like, I know there's other drunk chapters of people who have moved away or heard about drunk and started their chapters like in other drink and draw, like in other like. And there's another drink and draw that I think it's on, what's it called? It's on 45th. What's that area called? 45th, like, west of the freeway. Wallingford,
yeah.
There's like is it the Octopus or it's the...
Rusty Pelican?
No, there's some place in there where they do a drink and draw. Someone, whatever, posted on the Facebook.
Oh, Rusty Pelican's Magnolia, isn't it?
But there's another drink and draw that just opened up in the more north end, and it's like, it's good that like people are being inspired to do more of these things, because I think it's important that some artists want to be more social and some want to break out and meet other artists and learn how to resin. And that's the thing. Casey is and through that other people have done other demos and things and how to mount artwork or how to do whatever. And it's like like Reed Carpenter, amazing guy I met through drunk. I'm just like lazy and also don't have the tools set up, and like for the record show and the bottle show, he photoshopped my image, so it would go into be more clean and be in the template to promote the shows. And that's the thing is, Casey did those 2 big. He did a bottle show at True Love. He curated and Jonathan Fisher and Carl and other people like curated the one at KXP, the record show. And that's the thing is like, that's the thing is like these artists and people that are making things happen, once you kind of get in this, like, it's almost like, what is that thing in Finding Nemo?
Click. Yeah, when they join the turtles.
The turtles and the jet stream. You get in that jet stream of the artist like thing, and you learn about stuff, and you run into other shout out to ANC artists and craftsmen and great
current.
Huh?
The current.
What I say?
We said jet stream.
Oh,
it's the current.
But artists and craftsmen, I found out I see artists I know. I recommend them. Like, what art store do you go to? Artists and Craftsmen, like on 45th and U District, is a great place. They're affordable. The people are really helpful, and I know a lot of artists who go there. But that's the thing is, like, this network that we can build and help each other instead of stepping on each other in life is like help each other through this journey.
Absolutely. And even if it's something you're not interested in, like I have never been interested in making beer. I'm interested in drinking it.
Yeah.
But like I've met 2 people recently, both named Kevin, that brew amazing.
I know, that's
beers.
the one thing, besides talking about Tony's dick, like, what's up with Kevin's and beer? Because if I meet another Kevin that brews beer, like, it's gonna be like
a Kevin or a Joe.
It's like the last name Miller or Smith. Those were because they were millers. They milled stuff, or they were Smiths, or whatever. That's what a lot of last names came from. And it's like, what's up with Kevin's and brewing beer? And that's the thing is, if you come to Bellm Studios, meet Kevin. He's an amazing guy and does the Moscow Mule and the other beers. And it's like,
oh, dude, that habanero Moscow Mule is fucking awesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, you fall into this, like, even if you don't like art, common drink phenomenal beer, like, or like whatever, and that's,
I don't even care if you just hang out in the alley and smoke cigarettes with everybody. I mean, it's an introduction to everybody. You get to meet all the artists, because all the artists are philanderers in probably things that aren't necessarily the typical thing that people do, such as smoking, drinking a lot, partaking in certain drugs. Obviously, some with drugs that are not good for you, the people don't tend to do well, and they don't remain artists for long or anything for long.
Yeah.
But it's like you meet these people that use these creative inspirations, such as that, like.
Yeah. And kids, that's the thing is like we have kids down there. We're lucky that like I mean it's not that it's like go ahead and paint stuff that's like penises and vaginas or whatever you want to do, but like I'm just saying like you can go see some artwork for free, and usually we have like a cookie table, and you can come bring your kids, and people bring their kids, and kids are running around. Or one day, like your kid and other kids were creating artwork and drawing on the wall. Every once in a while, Mallory will do these like posters that she prints out and mounts them on the wall, and people can come and draw for free. And that's the thing is we offer that ability that like what do you do with your kid
it's not a daycare, but it's definitely hey kids, check this out, look at these people, and then come out here and try and replicate something, do something.
But if you want,
it's inspirational for children.
If you have a child and you want, whether they're a budding young artist or they're just with you and you want to go out and enjoy a night, come out to the art walk, because you can bring them, and they can see stuff, and maybe they want to want you to buy them a piece of artwork for their room, or or
a button or a sticker, Sometimes we give stuff out for free to the kids, and like we always have like cookies, or we used to have red vines and like all this stuff, but there's always like it's friendly for them. And that's the thing is it's not like when I first started going there.
I
think that was prior to you being there. I wasn't like a part of it. I would just go there every now and then.
There is no art walk without Rob. There's always
because Ryan was always, he was a friend of ours, and he lived in our house for a while. And we would go see his stuff, and it was always there, and it was fun as hell. But it was like back then there was no kids. It was very interesting. It was a lot like Burning Man down there for a while. And now it's a lot, it's very kid friendly. And we have a lot of the same artists that are good.
I mean, you have to do the secret handshake and know where the little speakeasy door is to get in, and that's the thing.
You got to go around the subway, you got to take a hit of this, and
I'm not like let's put it this way, I'm challenging. I'm a busy person, and I make myself busy, but I'm challenging myself. I'm putting this out there to the virtual world, and if I don't do one new sandwich board or form of advertising, whether putting lights up, or Travis I know was going to make an outdoor sign, but if I'm not part of one more, like each month, if I don't point out, and I'll date it and which month we did it for, but then I'll give you a free print. So I'm challenging myself to at least produce one new sandwich board to promote what we do at the Greenwood Collective.
Be it collective cards, or
it can be a postcard, or it can be a sandwich board, or some form of advertising. If I don't do that, and you come down and remember this from the podcast, and you say, Rob, show me what you did for this month. If I don't do that, I will give you a print.
I will double up on this. If that does not happen between me and him, if a month goes by that we don't create something advertising for the art walk, come and see either me or him. He will give you a print. I will do whatever.
And I'm going to be screwed because the thing is, if I don't do it 1 month, and then like let's say 20 people or 10 people,
if you don't do it 1 month, I will, because I ain't giving people shit for free.
But that's the thing. If I don't do it, like, and 10 people see this podcast and remember that, and they come up, that means I have to give out 10 prints, and it's like I have hardwood lightsabers that you can hit Rob with if he doesn't. I don't know if I'm like soberly agreeing to that, but
do you want to call this quits sometime, Jim? I want to go get some beef jerky.
I'm ready to go get some beef jerky. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Travis, for having me. I hope that we've said something interesting. I hope you've enjoyed this beautiful view. We're going to say, we could talk forever. I'll be back. We're going to do, the live thing and some other things there. But come out and see us in Greenwood.
Please.
Travis.
Please do.
Travis, it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Let's have fun this weekend.
All right. And just a double up on your Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff and places to find your work, where are we going?
Okay, so we could do 12 Birds on Instagram, Facebook, Robert.
Is that TWELVE or 1-2?
Thank you. 1-2 Birds.
Okay.
And then my email and contact information, burp, is on there. And then Facebook, Robert Bellm Art Site, ROBERTBELLM, and then Art Site on Facebook. Eventually, I'm not going to make any bets of when my website will be back up. My work is currently at Access Gallery, Pioneer Square, Greenwood Collective every second Friday. And you can get there, find an address through Urban Light Studios from 6 to 10 every second Friday. I currently have work at an amazing Thai food restaurant on Lake City called part2. Amazing owner, Golf, and his wife, and have had my work up there for like 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, nice.
So I've work up there. Shout out to Andy Miller, Josh Boulay, and the owners, Brent. And oh my gosh, I shouldn't even just said Brent because I remember Todd at
I was about to say Mike
at Elliott Bay Brewing. We did a project with them. So at their Brother Barrel next door, they do barrel brewed beers. Kevin does not work for them, but they commissioned us to do 3 large paintings inspired by German beer brewing and stuff like that. So artwork is there. And I'm trying to remember if there's any other.
You gotta fucking work everywhere.
I want to, not as much as.
Let's put some work on me. Let's tattoo me.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'll let you tattoo me.
Yeah, that's fine. And not as much as Mallory, not as much as Manticore, but and Ryan Henry Ward and all those people inspire me to do stuff, and Joey and Jesse and Pete and other people, but out there. But yeah, I mean, it's out there. You can contact me. And learn and come out and see us in Greenwood. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, everybody keep in contact, please, because we're gonna have more episodes with Rob, I'm sure, in the studio and during the live events. And we will be starting I'm hoping to start a line of Artist Alliance podcast t-shirts and whatnot, to where we can literally hand sign them for the guests, number 1, number 2, number 5, number 13, whatever, and so on and so forth. Just the basic stuff. And then they would also be available online. I will hopefully have the Artist Alliance podcast website set up by, we'll say, October. That's a goal of mine. Let's make that happen.
And I'm just going to say that if it's not set up by October, you can grab one of his lightsabers that are made out of really hard wood, and you can hit him in the kneecaps.
I tell you what, if I don't have one, if I don't have a website set up by October, in October, not by the beginning, but by the end of October, if I do not have it set up, and it's November
1st,
and you come down to the studio, you can have the lightsaber.
And they can't hit you with it.
No, but you can
not?
have. And you can hit me with it, but you can have it. It's yours for free. I have these excellent hardwood lightsabers with with metal handles, and me and my son battle each other with them.
Yeah,
like they are hard.
Yeah, because even if you don't like Star Wars, I know you know somebody that would love a
and they're free inspiration. They're not verbatim lightsabers. They're our own inspiration on lightsabers, pretty cool. And they're super fun. Yeah, that they are. So please tune in next time. Like, subscribe, all that other jazz, please, because those help get views and get other stuff. And then eventually, maybe one day, we can monetize this thing and help supplement the artist community. How's that sound? Sound good to you?
It sounds amazing.
Cool. All right. This has been the Artist Alliance podcast with Chavez Malash and Robert Bellm. Signing out.
Word.